Hey, Premier, it's John Woodward from CTV News. This could be for you, could be for the Transportation Minister. We're following up on the relatively recent news that Carfax has warned their data shows there could be over 100,000 fraudulently registered cars in Canada, many of them in Ontario, with VINs taken from exported cars, plastered on stolen cars, and ultimately resold at dealerships here in Ontario. I wondered, how concerned are you about that, and what is the province doing to make sure that customers aren't unsuspected customers aren't buying stolen cars?
Well, before I pass it over to the minister, we take that seriously, like any crime. Again, what I've been saying, when we catch these people, they need to go to jail. When they don't go to jail, there's no consequences. They think they can continue doing this. And that's why we're going to hire tough on crime judges that are going to keep people in jail, and they're going to pay the price. So their buddies outside are going to hear they're in jail, and they're going to stop, trying to steal and scam and weasel people of Ontario. We're going to come down hard on them, but I'll pass it over to the minister.
Thank you very much, Premier. And just to add on to that, first I want to thank Carfax for all their work on it as well, because I know they've introduced some new tools to help combat that as well. But from our perspective, late last year, actually, in the last legislative session, we actually introduced legislation for the first time that could fine individuals who were reVINning, illegally vinning, or committing fraud with VINs, up to $50,000 for their first offense, up to $100,000 as well, including 6 months in jail as well. So that was the first time that offense had been put forward. It passed the legislation. So we have always been, working not only through legislative means, but also my colleague, Minister Crawford at Service Ontario, has been working with not only the industry, but internally at Service Ontario to continue improving processes and verification processes as well, so we can come down hard on this. But ultimately, for us, it's about making sure that we punish those who do take part in this, create deterrences through legislation, but also then have the resources behind it to be able to enforce and also combat this, which we have shown through whether it's provincial police associations across the province or many of our teams that have auto theft teams that have been put forward across Ontario as well to combat this.
You mentioned Service Ontario. You're probably aware of the charges and the conviction of the people in Service Ontario registering these vehicles. One of the critics was telling us one way to make sure that there is some oversight in the vehicles that they are possibly criminally registering is to have inspections, physical inspections of these vehicles. And Ontario is the only province that we talked to that said they couldn't tell us how many physical inspections they're doing of these new vehicles. Is that a problem?
Well, look, I think we can look at every solution possible to this. I think from our perspective, we've been more than willing to combat and look at all tools possible, whether that be legislative reform to enact harsher penalties to deter those, whether it's working with police agencies across the province and country to combat much of the organized crime that is involved in this. So, I will definitely take that back with my colleague, Minister Crawford, and continue that conversation, as well as conversation when it comes to VIN frauding across all ministers of transportation and registration, because oftentimes you see it could be from varying jurisdictions as well. So look, we have no appetite to have any mercy on those who are stealing these vehicles. We want to come down hard on them. We've passed legislation. We've given enforcement a lot of power on that. We're working internally to increase those provisions in which we can capture those who are trying to commit this fraud. And so we'll continue to do that and put forward more legislation that will help prevent it and any tools possible. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. You're bang on. You can't manage anything unless you measure it. I promise you, they're going to be measured. And throw these guys in jail, too, for a few years. Teach them a lesson.